Good morning, Trailblazers. It is Holy Week, the pinnacle of the Easter season, a time of rebirth and renewal. Let's come together in prayer this morning, bringing with us our hopes for newness in our spirits and in our relationships.
Good morning, Trailblazers. This is the final week of Lent, known as Holy Week. Holy Week is the most sacred time of year for Christians as we follow Jesus into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday and then to his death on the cross. On the cross, Jesus recites a line from Psalm 22, my God, why have you forsaken me?" For prayer today, Miss O'Donnell sings this psalm for us. As she is singing, I encourage you to pray with the 3 questions St. Ignatius asks us to consider while we stand in front of Jesus on the cross. What have I done for Christ? What am I doing for Christ? What should I do for Christ?
My God, my God, my God, my God, why have you forsaken me, my God, my God, my God, my God, my God, my God, why have you forsaken me, my God, my God. All who see me deride me, curl their lips and toss their heads. He trusted in our Lord, let him save him. Let God release him if this is God's friend. My God, my God, my God, my God, why have you forsaken me, my God, my God? Many dogs surround me, and wicked men assault me. They tear holes in my hands and my feet. I can count every one of my bones. My God, my God, my God, my God, why have you forsaken me, my God, my God? They divide my clothes among them, they cast lots for my robe. Oh Lord, do not leave me alone. You are my strength, make haste to help me. My God, my God, my God, my God, why have you forsaken me, my God, my God? I will tell your name to my people, where they gather, I will praise you. Oh, thank God, give praise and give glory. Israel, revere God the Lord. My God.
So I think it's interesting. I can honestly say I've never used the word feminist to describe anybody or to describe myself because I'm not really sure what feminist means. If women maybe carrying out their professional lives and their personal lives in a way that's different from women in the past, or maybe perhaps the way their mothers led their lives, or different than what maybe the media or film portrays as the way women should act and behave, then is that what feminism is? I don't know. Or if feminism is about women who are using their gifts and talents in a way that men use their gifts and talents, is that what we mean by feminism? I'm not sure what it is. So I actually don't prefer not to use the word feminism. I think once giving a label like that to myself puts me in a box, and I don't like to ever be in a box, so I don't like to give labels like that to anybody. I think we should all use our gifts and talents in a way that makes the most sense to each of us as individuals. I'm in an engineering profession, and I think most people tell you there are way more men in engineering than there are women. So women are still a small number. Probably about 11% of the engineering workforce is women, and we're working really hard to change that in our educational systems. But so we are one of a few. When I went into engineering, I really didn't know what engineering even was. I sort of ended up in the profession kind of by accident. I thought I was going to be a physician, and I needed a college major. And so it was my mother who made me aware of something called biomedical engineering, which sounded really great in terms of becoming ready for medical school. And as I went through college, I ended up really liking engineering, and I stuck with it because I really liked the problem-solving aspects of it, and I felt like I could work side by side with doctors to come up with new healthcare technology. So as a student, though, I would say, yes, I took many college classes where I was only woman, and 50 students, 100 students, maybe even several hundred in a classroom, I was the only woman. It really didn't bother me. I found that my fellow male students were very welcoming, enjoyed having me on teams, really respected me for my knowledge, my expertise, and what I contributed to a project or to a classroom. So I really didn't experience sort of any kind of bias in that sense. However, there were some male faculty in engineering who definitely pulled aside some of us women to say that it was a waste of time for us to be getting a college degree, or a waste of us time for us getting an engineering degree because we were just going to go and get married and have children and never use our engineering degrees. So we would hear that oftentimes, and when you hear that, you really wonder, am I going to be able to make it? Can I do it? But I persisted. I had a father who was a great mentor who pushed me very much in terms of my math and my science skills and passion, and knew it was a good direction for me. So because of him, I persisted and I kept going. And I also had some great science and math teachers, particularly male math teachers, who pushed me to keep going and doing the things that I loved. So that was helpful. One of the things that often comes up is pay between men and women. I have seen it in my profession as I've moved into leadership roles, and I've looked at discrepancies in men's and women's pay. Really this whole concept of equal pay for equal work. And I think it's not just a gender thing. We see it also as a seniority thing. Somebody, just because they've been somewhere for a long time, they get paid more than the younger person for the exact same work and maybe even the same outcomes. And so I think there are questions around that and how we manage that. But certainly in pay, I will just tell you in my experience, women never come and ask for more pay, never ask for higher salaries. I get a lot of men who come and ask for it. So even in women stepping forward and sort of advocating for themselves and stepping up and being recognized that that's okay, we need to still see more of that. I still think too often in schools, teachers and counselors don't encourage women to pursue maybe careers that were traditionally male. I know when I was in high school, my guidance counselor, I was in my senior year of school and I wanted to take some computing and some science classes, and I remember my counselor challenging me, asking me why I was going to take these courses, and I should have been taking home ec, and I should have been taking childcare courses, etc. Unfortunately, when I went home and told my father gave me very stern instructions never to have more conversations with my guidance counselor. So again, sometimes when maybe even teachers and counselors are telling students what to do versus, as we talk about in a Jesuit context, let's help them discern who they want to be. Let's help them think about their gifts and their talents. Let's help them think about the possibilities and help them discern for themselves, as opposed to us telling them what to do and what's a right and what's a wrong. So I think we can do more that way for all kinds of people, not just gender race, ethnicity, but it's looking at everybody as an individual and helping them, getting them out of the boxes and the labels and helping them think about who they want to be. Two of the women who inspired me a great deal in my life were my two grandmothers, both my maternal and my paternal grandmothers. Both of my parents are immigrants from Hungary, and I know their families had to flee Hungary at the end of World War II because of lots of things that were going on in the war there, and they had to flee their countries really in like a moment's notice. So I think it was Christmas Eve night. They really had to like pack things up, whatever they could with their, with children and probably underwear and some food or whatever it might be, and literally leave their countries overnight, end up in another country, live in sort of refugee housing and camps for several years before even coming to the U.S. And I just think about this fact about how selfless they were and how they just did what they had to do, and they didn't think a lot about it, but they just cared about their children and their families, and they gave totally of themselves to others, and they were very strong women. And they came here to the U.S. and learned a new language and taught themselves enough to to get a job and to get started and to help make ends meet. And I just look at that, and sometimes when I think about how brave they were to do that, to leave everything behind, their families, their own parents behind, and that's to come over here and find a better life for their own families it's really remarkable, and the courage they have. And I remember talking to each of them and saying, how did you do it? How did you make this happen? And they all just said, we didn't think about it. We just did what we had to do, and we didn't complain about it. And I tell you, they are two women who never complained about anything in their lives. They just kind of pulled themselves up by the bootstraps and did what they needed to do, all for the sake of others. They were truly servant leaders in that way, and really strong women, and I really admire them for that. My advice is just be yourself. Be your true, authentic self. Always be paying attention to who you are. Use reflection as a way to constantly be thinking every day about what am I doing well, what am I struggling with, what do I want to do with my life, how do I help others. But just be true to yourself, be who you are. And sometimes it's really hard because you're getting a lot of pressure from parents, teachers, your communities, whoever it might be, to be somebody, to be this great person, to be this whatever it might be. And sometimes it might not feel right to who you are. It just doesn't feel right in here. So try to be true to yourself and try to find other people, mentors, maybe your parents, maybe coaches, maybe teachers, maybe other family members who will listen to you and listen to who you want to be, and then use those people to help give you strength to move forward, to be your true self.
Trailblazers, scholars, we have all been working tremendously hard this year, and especially this month of March, a long, hard month. We have taught and learned, prayed and reflected, practiced and played, created and performed, worked, and so on. Next week, actually as soon as this coming Friday, we find time to rest. On this Friday, Good Friday, when Catholics and all Christian communities honor Jesus' crucifixion and death, and then all through the Easter weekend and the following week, we have a much deserved opportunity to step outside of the fast pace of school and be with our families and friends and with God. Use your time off to restore and to recharge and to reconnect with those you love. And if you're 16 or 17 or 18 years old, I have one assignment for you next week. Get vaccinated. If you live in 53204, 53205, 53206, 53209, 53215, 53218, 53223, 224, or 233, and you're at least 16 or older, get your COVID vaccine next week. Some of you already beat me to it and got started this week. You can set up an appointment at the Wisconsin Center right downtown, or you can go to either of the walk-in clinics without an appointment. One is set up at South Division High School, one's at North Division High School, and there's one at the Northwest Health Center, and they're open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you are under 18, you're 16 or 17, you'll probably need parent permission, I would imagine. So talk to your parents about this and have them get vaccinated too. To learn more, you go to city.milwaukee.gov. I think it's /COVIDVAX, VAX, to get more information. Picture the relief you'll feel once you're vaccinated, knowing you're so much safer and that everyone you come into contact will be too. Whether you're old enough to get vaccinated, either way, after this 4-day week, it will be a good time to really rest. That way, when you come back on Monday, April 12th, you will come back ready to blaze trails through the final 9 weeks of this school year. Of course, we'll have a lot of learning to do, we'll focus, we'll work hard, and in those final 9 weeks, which is actually 8 weeks for the class of 21, there'll be joyous weeks, especially as we get ready to celebrate those seniors who are steadily marching towards their graduation from CRJ and the next step of their journey into college. Seniors whose inboxes have been overflowing with college acceptances and financial aid offers over the last several months. Even a pandemic cannot slow our senior class down. Their college plans, their life dreams remain front and center. And their intelligence and their strength and their resilience provide a model for us all to aspire to. So we look forward to honoring them in particular in May and June. Of course, we also look forward to soccer and volleyball games and track and field competitions, as well as forensics meets and community service events and all the other ways we are able to be with one another safely. And we look forward to all the growth still ahead of us as a community that is guided by faith, prepared to lead, and called to serve.